Hi, everybody. This short video is going to go over your assignment on the nonfiction narrative. So this is your first major writing assignment for English 1, and it's probably my favorite writing assignment of the year. What I'm going to ask you to do is write a personal story, a personal narrative, something that is true to you, that answers the question, what does it mean to be an American? In particular, how does your generation define what it means to be an American? So start thinking about different examples of different ways that the American identity has been explored in the texts we have read for our class. A Quilt of a Country, The Immigrant Contribution, American History. So think about the question, what do Americans have in common with each other? So, like I said, you're going to write a short story, a nonfiction narrative, where you explore your response to this question. On the screen here, you can see what you will find on page 52. So open up your book to page 52. And I'm going to go through this assignment. So like I mentioned, the assignment is listed here. You're going to write a brief narrative that explores this question. How does your generation define what it means to be an American today? You're either going to use your own experience, so something that you have gone through yourself, or that of someone that you know or have studied. So you're telling a short story. So even though it is a narrative, it is a story, it's nonfiction, meaning it's true. So it is a true story. It is a series of events that occurred in real life rather than in your imagination. Here are some of the elements that a really effective nonfiction narrative includes. You should have a clearly described situation. You should have well-structured sequence of events. Your details should show time and place, or setting. You should include dialogue, description, reflection. Your conclusion should be reflective, where you come back to the question of how does your generation define what it means to be an American? You should include your thoughts and feelings or significance about the event, and of course, you always should have correct grammar. So in this narrative that you're writing, you're going to use first person. You're going to be able to say I. So I want you to read music for my mother today. I'll direct you to that after this video. I also have 2 different sample nonfiction narratives on today's Moodle post and in the Unit 1 handouts and resources folder, so you can read those. So at this point, I'm going to direct you to, I'm going to show you where those things can be found. So in the Unit 1 handouts and resources folder, you can find 2 sample nonfiction narratives. These are from former students. So right here, that's where you can find those things. I'll also pull up the nonfiction narrative rubric here. So this is how you're going to be graded. First, I'm looking for a clear purpose and organization. I want an introduction to a real situation that develops a narrative. I want you to introduce the key people. There should be a problem or a conflict. The progression of events should be smooth, and you should conclude with a reflection on the significance of the events, where you return to the question, how do you define what it means to be an American? In your evidence and elaboration, I'm looking for interesting exposition that shows and tells the reader, and I'm looking for dialogue. I want you to include dialogue. And then, of course, always proper conventions in grammar, including MLA format. Okay. So I'm going to wrap that up. This will be the end of our video. Again, you can find this on page 52 in our textbook, My Perspectives. After you read Music for My Mother and the sample nonfiction narratives, you'll fill out page 53, which is the pre-writing and planning guide.